welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. I know that everyone here, if you're working in marketing, you're probably a pretty busy person. So we're thrilled to have you, and we hope you get a ton of relevant, like hands-on work and kind of sharpening the saw for all of the future marketing work that you're going to be doing. So this workshop is something that we do with a lot of our clients. We titled it "How to Build Effective Digital Marketing Campaigns," and it's at Ollo Metrics. It's one of the things that I think makes us a little unique in the agency space, is that we often are helping our clients to work through these campaigns and have a certain framework for them. And we've seen it a lot of positive success because of it. So that's what we're sharing with all of you guys today. It's something called the POST framework. And this is it's a framework I'm going to walk you through. It's super simple, but then how that applies to the actual campaign planner as well. So I will say, for anyone that's cameras off, we are, especially when we get into the breakout rooms, we're going to have a lot of interactivity there. So we'll be, I'll be asking you to turn your cameras on and contribute. It's okay, maybe if you have them off right now, but throughout the conversation, and especially when we get into the exercise, we'll be actually breaking out into teams and working on things together. So a bit about myself. I'm the co-founder and managing director of Ollo Metrics. We're a digital marketing agency based in Vancouver and Squamish, BC. And like I mentioned, one of the things that makes us unique is the stuff that we're going to be talking about today, which is all of the help that we do with our clients' campaign planning. But another piece of that is we place a really heavy emphasis on analytics. And so conversion tracking, helping our clients understand KPIs and really the business value behind the campaigns. So a lot of things that we're talking about today do tie into those pieces, the objectives of the campaign, how are we measuring success, and then how are we using that to guide our strategy. And we work with a lot of clients from B2B, B2C, e-com, higher ed, etc. And we use this exact same framework for all of them. And so this is something that's pretty versatile and can work with regardless of your business. I'll tell a little bit of story of my past position working at Kintech. I was the marketing director there. If anyone's had orthotics or a brace and lives in British Columbia and now across Ontario, you probably have heard of Kintech before. But I really built my career there and battle tested these tools and frameworks while working at Kintech over the years. And I'm also a lead instructor at BrainStation, which is like a tech ed institute. And I teach digital marketing classes there in search engine optimization. So joining me is Marie, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi guys, I'm Marie Fitzgibbon. I joined Ollo because I was impressed by Warren about 6 months ago. So I joined the team as an account manager and working with a lot of clients on campaign planning. And previously I built my career at 1-800-GOT-JUNK and O2E brands, where I got to work with a lot of franchises, building out their online presence. And all my career I've been working in this space, previously in many agencies in Vancouver, in performance and search and all of these good things. So yeah, so happy to be at Ollo now.
Thanks, Marie. So I wanted to talk a bit about the format of these workshops. So in the past, we've done webinars, and it's kind of like a one-way communication, me presenting, and then hopefully the audience, trying to retain as much information as possible. And so we wanted to switch things up and come up with these workshops as a way to really add value to the marketing community. So you can learn like what's working. I know marketing's shifting all the time. It's like the Facebook ad strategy that worked 3 months ago doesn't work today, and things are always evolving. So we wanted to be able to give back to the landscape and learn from you guys as well. So if we're all kind of working on this together, you'll learn just as much from the peers that are in this conference. I'll say this room, but this virtual room, as you will from us teaching the material. And so I think this is something that we want to do on a regular basis going forward. We'll have a survey at the end of this with some other topics that might be of interest. So if you guys have things that you're interested in, like you want to learn about conversion tracking or KPIs or, the list goes on, I've got some options there, and we can select it and then choose that topic for the next workshop and dive in there. As I mentioned, something that I see in marketing a lot for webinars and workshops is really it's like kind of a sales pitch wrapped in a webinar, and so that's not what we wanted to do here. It's this is learning focused, it's hands-on. We've got live feedback and something that to build a community with. So when I teach at BrainStation, it's very much we do workshops at BrainStation, and it's very much that kind of format. So we're almost like a little mini classroom here as we work through this stuff. So the agenda is I'll do a bit of a background on campaign planning. I'll go through the post framework. I'll talk about the campaign planner that we're going to be applying this framework in, and then we'll break out into breakout rooms to do our exercise. When we do that, we're going to have one person sharing their screen. So whoever is really confident sharing their screen and has shared their screen before, I would say in Google Meet, if someone's shared their screen before in Google Meet, then you should be the one that shares your screen, because you might have to give Chrome access. And if you haven't, you can always give it access and then rejoin, but we can figure that out when we get there. And then Marie and I will be jumping around the different rooms to facilitate those discussions and kind of guide you guys towards filling out a campaign sheet together. And then at the end, we'll do Q&A and share all these resources with you. So I will, just because this is a small group discussion, I will say, if you got to answer little text messages here and there, go ahead. But try, to pay attention, because we're going to use these concepts as soon as we go into the breakout rooms. So I always like to share that slide. The first part is how to build an effective digital marketing campaign. So where did this all start? This was back when I was working at Kintech, and my boss had this horrible habit of coming up to me and saying, "Warren, we need an ad today." And it was usually because of some press deadline or something. And so I would really have to quickly try to snap together an ad. And it was, as you can imagine, extremely stressful. If any of you work with entrepreneurs, they have this tendency to want to rush things all the time. And there's this shiny object syndrome that that has an effect on everyone else, let's say. Oh, okay. And so I started to put together a framework so that I could minimize those situations. Okay, how do I stop and prevent this from happening, from coming and ruining my day, which was happening on a regular basis, and then create more effective campaigns that we can continue to learn from. So really, I was trying to avoid random acts of marketing. And this is like, because everyone's on social media, everyone's a digital marketer. And so as a marketer, you always get these ideas thrown at you all the time, right? So how do we take those ideas and turn them into something that we can do with intention, with the proper objectives in place, and then avoid this. And this is like one of the, I'd say one of the most common things that I see when we start working with a client for the first time, if there isn't an experienced marketer that's working there. Maybe they've hired a marketing coordinator or assistant that doesn't really have leadership to follow. Then they're just chasing their tails, chasing after what the business owner wants to do, which is a little bit of everything all the time. So what most people do ends up looking like this. Our competitors are doing Facebook ads. We need to do Facebook ads. Apparently Facebook is favoring video. We need a video. There's lots of impressions, clicks, views. How do we know if how do we know if this is working? How do we know if we can keep investing money into this? And then, okay, well, are we even reaching the right people with this message? What are we even saying here? Who are we talking to? And so this is really backwards. They're starting with the tactic, and they're thinking about the strategy. Oh, well, we need video. That's got to be part of our strategy. Then they're starting to wonder about what their objective was in the first place and who they're targeting. And so this really needs to be reversed. And that's what the POST framework is. This is an acronym, tactics, TSOP. This should be POST. And that's the POST framework. And so it's pretty simple. You guys, if you're marketers, you probably already know this. Maybe you didn't have a name for it. I was kind of doing this throughout my career, and I just didn't have a name for it. Eventually, I came across this. I was like, that's what it is. And so it's a nice, easy way to quickly prime your thinking as soon as that question comes up. Hey, we need an ad. We need to do a campaign for this. Okay, who are we targeting? Who's the audience? How are we going to target them? What's the message? What are our objectives? So our goals, our targets, and how are we measuring success? So our KPIs. What's our game plan? How are we positioning ourselves? What's the direction that we're going in? What is that kind of game? I like to say the game of marketing chess that we want to play, or opening gambit, or something along those lines. And then what are the steps? So finally, we bring in those steps at the end. Okay, we're going to do Facebook ads. We're going to do this, and we're going to do email and connect all the dots together. So you guys are going to get this slide, but that's it. That's the framework. It's super simple, and that's why we like it, because there's a lot of complexity with things changing in marketing. So it's nice to have things that are constant as well. So I'll just unpack each of those a little bit. The who, and so if you've ever built a customer avatar or customer persona before, then you know there's a lot of different questions that you want to answer when you're building those. I will say caveat there: most marketers like to build personas that look a lot like themselves, and so it's really important to try to understand the customer, interview customers, and know that this person isn't like you, and they may be more different than you think. So who are we trying to reach with this campaign? Where do they live? What are their interests? Job title? How old are they? Gender? Why will they care? That's a big one. And then who should we avoid? I think that one gets missed a lot. And I think maybe about 30% of marketing budgets get wasted because that question wasn't answered. If you have a customer avatar template or persona template, then you probably have other questions that you would fill out. So what keeps them up at night? What are they worried about? What are their secret desires, or deep down, what do they care about? What are their frustrations, etc.? Or what is the type of person that they would like to become? So when we work with clients, we usually, at the very onset, we'll try to get a deep understanding of the persona. And then, but when we do a campaign, we don't need to answer all of those questions every single time. It's like, great, we got that persona created. Now we just need to quickly get this down. So we're not, we're thinking about a certain target audience or person, and we're not just going, it's for everyone, which is the knee-jerk reaction from a lot of business owners. So objectives, why are we doing this? So what is the primary goal of the campaign? Is it to increase leads, awareness? Is there any secondary or tertiary goal? That's a hard word to say. So, one that I like is to build retargeting lists. If we're doing an awareness campaign, sometimes that gets missed, right? Oh, we want an awareness campaign. Well, while we're doing this, why don't we make sure that we have some long-term retargeting lists that we can leverage in a future campaign? The important question I always like to ask is, let's pretend that the campaign just finished. So we got this 3-month campaign. A client will usually come and ask us, hey, we've got this campaign we want to do. The goal is we want to generate awareness. And I'll say, okay, let's pretend it's 3 months from now, campaign's over. How do we know it was successful? Is it that we had 1 million impressions? Is it that we had 50,000 people visit the website? Or is it that we've got 300 leads that the sales team is following up with? And they'll go, oh, it's the leads. Yeah, we want leads. Okay, cool. So the objective is actually lead generation. And sometimes it isn't. Sometimes they're like, no, we're okay. We're cool. It's just impression. It's just awareness. But it's always good to ask that, to try to dig down to the details, even if you're just asking yourself. So if you have no one to bounce this idea off of, just asking yourself, okay, what does that success look like, or your boss, then that will really help you define that objective, because the way you would approach a lead generation campaign versus awareness campaign is completely different. And so you're going to use maybe different platforms, different targeting objectives in the campaigns. You might have a different budget, different message. So it's really important to get that one. And then which KPIs do we need to track? What are our targets? So if we know the objectives, or the KBOs, sometimes known as the key business objectives, what are the KPIs that are going to tell us if we're doing a good job? And so if it's awareness, it's probably going to be number of impressions, CPMs, maybe like the cost per 1,000 impressions, to know how much we're paying for impression. If it's leads, then it's going to be the number of leads and the cost per lead. Maybe the quality, if you have a way of measuring that. Okay, now strategy. I think strategy is probably the one that gets missed the most or confused the most for tactics, because it just kind of blends in there. At a high level, I like to say, like, what's our game plan? What are we going to do? What direction are we going to go to achieve these objectives? And so sometimes it's like this sequential thing. Okay, we're going to drive people to blog content. We're going to use a quiz, maybe, to generate email opt-ins, and then use an email marketing to release a timely offer. So we've got this like 3-step sequence for this audience. We're thinking about the customer journey and how we might engage with them to create something unique. And something that is not just, well, let's just turn on ads and see how it goes. What's our offer for this audience? So is it like a discounted offer? Is it a timely offer? Is it like a limited supply offer? So there's so many different ways that you can approach this to make something attractive to the audience of why they should act now. And is there a sequence, like I mentioned before? How does this support our other initiatives? And how are we positioned against the competitors? So you'll see some of these things in the marketing campaign sheet. I think the position against the competitors is always an easy one to forget. What are they doing? Because sometimes we're just busy trying to figure out what we're doing. And then tactics is the easiest. How are we going to implement the strategy? So we just need to make sure that we've got the right pieces in place that we need to fulfill that strategy. So landing page. Never forget the landing page. I'll say people always forget the landing page, and but what landing page are we sending people to is probably the first question to ask, and then if you're incorporating any other platforms. Okay, so that's the post framework, and as you'll see, it's overlaid in the campaign planner, so we don't need to remember it all right now, and we'll have a guide for it. So let's talk about the campaign planner. What is it? It's a Google Sheet template. That's it. Everyone here used Google Sheets before? Yeah. You might use Microsoft, and if you're working for a larger organization. A lot of them are on Microsoft Suite, and that's fine. You can take this, I believe, and turn it to an Excel file. But it's just a template for your marketing campaigns. It can be used for a business owner, marketing manager, marketing consultant, anyone who's in charge of marketing that needs to be thinking through and planning out campaigns. The campaigns can be ongoing all the time, or they can be just one that has a start and stop. Tim, you got a question?
Yeah. Do we get all this, or we get that template and we get all the information with these slides and everything? Awesome. Yeah. Cool. That was my question. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you. So why is this important? For us, at least, why this has been important is it's a single source of truth for the campaign. So when you're launching a campaign, there's the planning phase, and we're trying to get all of the different parties on board. It could be just yourself and your own thoughts, or it could be 40 people. And so this is a single source of truth. Everyone can see it, everyone understands it, and you can have a conversation about the campaign. It's used in the planning phase. So it forces you to go through the priming of people, objective, strategy, tactics, and remember that instead of just jumping to, okay, let's do Facebook ads. It gets alignment across all the campaign elements. So as I mentioned, people, objective, strategy, tactics, but also the dates, budgets, competitors, offer, copy, creative. So we put this all into one sheet. So it's just a single view. So we recommend using it by filling it out. And sorry, this will make more sense when I show you the campaign planner. We've got a list at the beginning, so you can list out all your campaigns, and then we've got one campaign sheet for each campaign. So we recommend doing the list every quarter, probably. So you're looking 3 months ahead. You're going, okay, we've got like it's January. We've got a New Year's campaign. We've got a Valentine's Day campaign. We've got a spring break campaign, St. Patrick's Day, and now we're in April. So you start with that. At the beginning of the year, you have a conversation with whoever you need to. And then you start to fill out one campaign sheet for each of those campaigns. You use it to get approval on the different campaign elements and have a conversation with the stakeholders involved. And then you start your campaign and check what's on or off track and behind. Once you've created one, it's way easier to create the second one. So a lot of people do campaign planning in slides, like a PowerPoint, or sometimes like a Google Doc. I'm going to share that template as well. We've got a version in a document if you wanted to do it that way and print it out and walk through it by hand. We like the spreadsheets because of how easy it is to duplicate one spreadsheet to the next, keep it all organized in one place, and then when it's like a new calendar year, duplicate the whole thing, and then you don't need to start from scratch. So you can kind of leverage the campaigns that did really well last year, and then replace the ones that didn't do so well. So you copy the whole sheet the following year. So what it doesn't do is assign tasks and due dates and show you all of your ads in copy. So we use a project management software to do this, and we also use ad mockup docs. So you can just mock up your ads in, let's say, Google Docs, and you can use a project management system like ClickUp, Trello, Monday.com, Asana. At Ollo Metrics, we use ClickUp, and that seems to work well for us. And then you can assign a person to the task and then put a due date, and then it's going to remind them and email them and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't do all that because it's just a sheet, but it does get alignment on everything. So it's up to you, for everyone here, it's up to you on how you want to use this. You want to take the parts that work for you, you want to apply it to your system, or you want to use it as is. Everyone's going to have a slightly different preference, and that's totally okay. So I'm going to walk through some examples. This is a Body Energy Club, and we used a campaign sheet to plan out this campaign that we did for them. It was like a first-time smoothie offer, and it was for their new UBC location, and that was opening during COVID. So during the pandemic, they were opening this location at UBC that wasn't having students. So it was pretty challenging, and we had to come up with a creative way to try to get people in the store, and then also leverage that audience to try to get them back again. So I'll walk through this right now, and I'll show you the campaign planner at the same time. So the first thing I mentioned was the campaign list, that you would do this once every quarter. And so that's the first sheet here. Again, this is it's just a Google sheet. I'm going to share this with everyone. Actually, you know what? I'll share it right now. So I just put it in the chat. All you have to do, this is a view only access. So if you guys are all popping in like you are now, yeah. Then you just need to come up to File and then go Make a Copy, and then you can make a copy for yourself. And then because you won't be able to edit this one. So great, I see everyone's doing that now. So so the first tab here is our campaign list. I've also got notes, if you hover over every single cell, that kind of explain in a little bit more detail what each of these is. And I've got two examples at the top. So we've got this section here that says must be complete, and then this section that says fill in if there isn't a campaign sheet. So if you didn't want to fill in a campaign sheet, then you could just quickly line item all the details here. The way I recommend starting is to just fill out this section right here for all the campaigns that you've got planned coming up in the budgets, and then do a campaign sheet for every single one. And so all you do is start date, end date, name of the campaign. You would have a link that goes to the tab of the sheet that you're going to create. And then the business unit or budget name. So for here, it was for Body Energy Club, it was their UBC location. So that's the business unit. And then the budget. And then we go to the tab. So first, I'll just show you the blank one. So you see this first, and then I'll walk through the Body Energy Club example. I'll give it a little bit more room here. So this is it. This is the sheet. It might look like a lot to look at first, but it starts to make sense. So just like the previous one, we've got the dates here at the top: start date, end date, the campaign. If it's an ongoing campaign, you can just put ongoing, because we run campaigns year long. The business unit, the budget, the breakdown per platform, We have done this per platform because we are a digital agency that is primarily doing Google ads, or sorry, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn ads. We're primarily doing ads. If you are primarily doing email campaigns or something else, then you can change this to fit your needs. So people, now we get into the post framework, right? So we've got POS, and then we've got T right below. And so people, here we talk about our different audiences. So you might have two different personas that you're trying to reach with this campaign. You would put the first one here, and then the second one here. And that's where you have the conversation about who you're targeting this campaign. Who are we trying to reach? And so we haven't even talked about objectives yet. Who are we trying to reach with this campaign? Why will they care? Who are we trying to avoid? Next, we fill out our objectives. I've got primary, like a 1, 2, 3 in order, and then also the KPIs that would correspond with those objectives. Then our strategy, right here. And then we get into messaging. So messaging, the way we like to do it is that we like to have a key message first. Very simple. What is the, let's get this super clear of what this campaign is about. And the one I'm going to show you for Body Energy Club is 50% off your first smoothie at Body Energy Club UBC. So it's just like, we're not trying to come up with something like whimsical and fancy at this point. It's just like, what is it in its clearest form that someone can understand of what we're actually offering here. And then we can start to get creative with different options of what we want to test. So then we come up with like headline variation 1 here, headline variation 2, and we can start to like test different ideas. And then here, this is kind of like an idea junk drawer here. So we got lots of people jumping in and out. And then we come down here, and that's when we start getting into tactics. So I will say, if you guys can see this little plus sign, Google Sheets has this ability to hide rows and group them. So I just hid this, but it's something that you can just open up. Here's where you would do some competitor research, put down the competitor offers. If you have some sort of promo or incentive, 50% off coupon or 50% off, you can list it here. And then start to detail, okay, what's our landing page? What are our tactics? So Google search, you got a long list here of all the different tactics. What copy needs to get created? We've even got all of the character lengths of all the copy that would be needed for all of these different tactics. And then the same thing for creative assets. So for Facebook, what are the dimensions that we need for the ads, etc. So as you can see, we do this stuff all the time. So we try to make it as simple as possible so that we're trying to eliminate guesswork. So just to note, all of these fields are pulling from sections on the right here that are just hidden columns. So if you start deleting them, you might be deleting some of the values there. So just a heads up, if you wanted to, like, let's say, oh, we're not doing LinkedIn ads, you can just hide this stuff right there. So any questions at this point? And then I'll walk through Body Energy Club. Okay. Maybe oh, can you send a link, please? Yes. Here you go, David. Yeah. Okay, so I'll walk through the Body Energy Club example. And so this is a B2C example. Yeah, you're welcome. And so for this client, let's say it's a month campaign. We actually did this in 2021, but I'm just using this as an example. So February 1st, let's say this goes for the month of February, $6,000. We've got a split, 1,000 on Google, 5,000 Facebook. We've got these personas. And so we're mapping out where they're from, their interests, maybe some different targeting options, like different athletic brands that they follow, or supplement brands, or influencers, their age, gender, and why they will care, healthy grab-and-go smoothie for fitness and work, and then who we want to avoid. So here we said current customers. We don't want to be targeting their current customers and people that are coming to that location. They were okay with having some customers maybe that went to different locations come over, but the ones there, they're like, well, they're already coming. So, we laid out the objective: increase store visits and sales at UBC. So how are we measuring that? Coupon redemptions and upsells. So they've got a CRM in their store, and that's going to tell them how many coupon redemptions they got from this campaign, and then they can measure that effectiveness. They wanted to increase trial with new customers that haven't been to the location yet. So we were looking at first-time visits. They could also measure that in store, and then build a new store email list. So a number of subscribers. So and these are things that we tried to pull out of the client a little bit, right? So when they came to us, they're just like, we just want to have sales. And I was like, well, we probably want to leverage, try to leverage this campaign, and so we can use it for future campaigns. So let's try to build your email list at the same time, so that you don't have to run ads every time you want customers to come in. So let's make sure that we're doing something, some sort of coupon offer that we need to get an email for, so that you guys can just email them again in the future and get more people back in through the door. And so then we laid out all of this, and okay, now we've got the objectives, and we know that we have to do a strategy that meets those objectives. So we use this enticing first-time offer. We say, okay, once people are in store, we can cross-sell, upsell to their other products that they've got, because they sell supplements and everything else, and then encourage customers to share with their friends. So these were a couple of the options that we came up with to meet that. There was one that was just kind of down the middle, say 50% off any smoothie, and one where we took this little kind of like sex sells approach. It's my first time smoothie promo, and don't be shy, tell a friend or two, we won't judge. So we're just kind of playing, like trying to make it fun, because this is their audience, right? Like they're targeting this a young group of kind of athletic people, and we figured this might be something that resonates with them. So once we had that laid out, we knew, okay, we're going to test these two creatives against each other, but we know what our key message is, and then we started to build all of the tactics. Okay, we've got our landing page. We built one in Unbounce. It's a landing page builder, because they didn't have the ability to do that on their website. We had a coupon code there that put them into an email list that gave them the coupon code, and then they would bring that in the store and share it with their friends and that kind of stuff. And so we can detail all the tactics here. As you can see, these ones, they're not actually linked, but normally we would link these to add creative docs and all of those pieces, so that, again, we've got this in a single view. We know each tactic, the due date of the tactic, if it's complete, and who's doing it. But once we can't actually schedule this for Pranav to do here, you would have to then put that into, let's say, Trello or ClickUp or Asana, so that he would get a reminder to do that. It depends on the complexity of your team, right? So if this is just you, if you're doing this by yourself, then it's just a way for you to stay organized. If you got a big team, then you got to plan all this stuff out. Okay, and then so next section gets into the copy. Same thing applies there. So what kind of copy do we need? Well, we're doing Google search, Google display. Well, okay, we need some responsive display ads created, some search site link extensions, some Facebook ads created. And so you can list out here and who's doing it there. And then same thing for the graphics. So Facebook graphics, display, Google display, email banner, who's doing all of those things. And so as you can see, this is the goal. It's a lot of information, right? But we're trying to organize it in a way that forces our minds to go through this process of not thinking tactics first. We're thinking people first, objective, strategy, and then getting to tactics. And then at the end of that, we should get something like this that meets our objectives and builds does what we're supposed to do. Get first-time customers in, not just repeat customers that are just taking advantage of this new deal. First-time customers in, we're building an email list, we're able to reach out to them again, and we're trying to cross-sell and get them to share with their friends. And this campaign went really well. We got like over 1,200 email addresses, and then they were able to kind of keep reaching out to the audience. And we ran this a couple times, actually. So that's a B2C example of how this can be applied. There's a B2B example. I'm going to go through this one way faster. But this was the one that we did for our workshop that you guys are all here for today. And so this was our Ollo Metrics workshop. It's the first time we're doing this. And so we went through this campaign planner just like we advise all of you to do. And this one is much more complicated. The reason I wanted to share this is to show that this is how detailed you can get with this. We didn't have a big budget for this, but we knew who we were targeting. We wanted to get registrations, but also build our email database for future workshops, build retargeting lists for future workshops. Our strategy was to host free workshops, promote them on paid and organic channels, and then use this first workshop to promote the next one. And so we just went through this. We looked at some of the competitors. I actually speak at BrainStation Small Business BC workshops. The BrainStation one costs $15. Small Business BC costs around 40. They're really just webinars, but they're called workshops. and so we're like, okay, let's do a free one. It's our first one. Let's make it free and just and make sure that we're being here and providing some value to everyone. And then we just went through all the pieces, landing page, all of the details around the workshop, and the emails that we wanted to put out, our social media posts, our Google My Business posts, our website changes. So we put this top bar on our website, and then we did an exit intent pop-up. We did some event schema markup on our page, so that Google can find our event better. We changed our search ads, did display ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, and then we'll do a follow-up survey at the end. So yeah, you can see all the pieces there, and this is the result. We're all here. It's I'd say like it's a lot. This is probably the most that you'll ever fill this thing out, but it keeps things organized and keeps people accountable because there's a name for every single one of these. And I will say you'll be tempted to put multiple names here, but don't do it. Just put one. Awesome. Okay, so those are the examples. I'm guessing that a lot of you will probably feel like this is brand new stuff, right? Like this is a brand new template. I've been using it for maybe 10 years, and you guys are all using it for the first time. And so it's okay that you might not know how to fill it out properly. And so, because when we go into our breakout rooms, you will probably reach a couple moments where you're like, I don't know what the heck to put there. Marie and I will be circulating around the rooms and helping out to facilitate some of these things, and we're going to give you some tips to help you fill it out. So it's totally okay. Marie, you can even relate how you filled out your first campaign planner. Was it hard?
Yeah, it was embarrassing, but I'm getting a little bit better. Yeah, no.
So it's totally okay, and I think that's why I wanted to have a workshop so that people get practice doing it. So now we're going to break out into rooms of 4 to 5, and so I will. I'm going to start to set up these breakout rooms, and Marie and I will start to move around. So to make this exercise effective, I'll say one person share their screen and take notes. So if you have used Google Meet before and shared your screen with Google Meet, then you are by de facto the person that's going to share their screen and then help to take the notes. So read the scenario, pull up the campaign planner, and then fill in your campaign details. So actually, that being said, I will share this presentation deck with all of you guys. Let me just quickly do this. Anyone? I'll have to do this so that you guys can do this. Okay. I'm going to drop it in the chat. And it's because on slide 29, we have the scenario. So you might have to have that live in your groups. So I'll share this again. So we're going to break out into groups of 4 to 5. How many people are here right now? Okay, so we'll do 4 groups. One person shared the screen. We'll read through the scenario. I'm going to go through right now, and then one person to share the campaign plan with the group after. So as soon as we finish breakout rooms, we'll come back here, And then I'm going to pick a couple groups. I'm not going to pick everyone, but a couple groups just to walk through the campaign planner, share it with the rest of the group, and then everyone can learn from that, hopefully. And I can provide some feedback. And I got a couple tips. So the scenarios for a company called MyLens, they're actually a client of ours. And so when you're doing this initial research on the people, objectives, start to look at their website, look at the MyLens website, look at their competitors' websites. I'm going to share a link to the Facebook ads library. It's a pretty cool resource if anyone hasn't seen it before, where you can see all of the ads for every company that advertises on Facebook. And so you can always look at their ads. What are they saying in the ads, and like how can we be different? And so what are their offers in those ads? So the scenario is, I'll just break this up. MyLens. So they are a new Canadian online eyewear retailer. They've had early success with their online contact lenses, including their in-house brand, Aurora. So that's just setting the stage. They are looking to enter the sunglasses market. So brand new sunglasses market with a full line of prescription sunglasses. MyLens wants to stand out from the competition with their virtual try-on feature. So they got this feature where you can like virtually try on sunglasses, which is pretty cool. But they may need other creative ideas to stand out because, as you guys are all aware, the online glasses and contact space is super competitive. So they've got a goal of selling 100 pairs of sunglasses in June. But understand that this is new territory. They mostly want to reach new customers online, so not their current customer base. And they're direct competitors with Clearly.ca, Bailey Nelson, and Kits. So we want to build a marketing campaign to help them launch their sunglasses successfully. So we got a timeline, June 1st to 30th, budget 10 grand. And so we're gonna have one person, when we break out, it's going to share their screen and then start to fill in all these details with the help of the rest of the group. Sound good? Any questions before we go do that? Marie, I'm just going to actually, Marie, you're going to go into that group.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that's good. Okay, good. So I'm going to put a timer for, let's do like 25 minutes, guys. If we want to come back earlier, we can come back earlier. And we'll just kind of make things up as we go, okay? All right, I'll see you guys in the rooms. Okay.